Hi, I'm Karen.
And I'm Travis.
And this is the Crazy Lazy Morning Show.
Thumbs of approval. Alright, today we got our brand new microphone, so hopefully this sounds a lot better. We're still waiting for about 2 weeks for our new camera.
Let us know how our sound is.
Yeah, let us know how our sound is. I'll know in editing.
Yeah, that's
how the sound
Never mind, scratch that.
But yeah, we ordered the products at the same time, and we've already waited 2 weeks for this microphone, and now we're waiting for another 2 weeks for our camera. But today we have on the not on the show. We're not bringing anybody out, so don't worry. We're going to do a little thing. Kids are a lot different nowadays than it was when we were kids. Like, well, even me and Karen, we were. Our childhood is different. Like, she couldn't do the same stuff I did and all that because we grew up two different families. Of course, because that's why we're married. We're not going to be brother and sister. Yeah. And nowadays kids, they're kind of spoiled.
Too spoiled.
Like, a little too spoiled.
Like, kids that aren't even like disciplined properly and just don't have manners, and it's just.
And
it's mainly, in my opinion,
it's the parents.
And somewhat CFS's fault.
Well, no, I don't believe it's CFS's fault. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of fear because of CFS and, child welfare agencies around the world, because there are different names in different countries.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that kids, or when a kid has a terrible life when they're a kid, they're going to grow up to thinking, oh, hey, I'm not going to do this to my child, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've had that.
Oh yeah, we've had like the exact same thoughts. Like
I was spanked as a kid. Same as Karen. We were both spanked as kids. We don't spank our kid out of like anger. It's like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, it's like, I swear I can hear little kittens right now. I'm thinking that one of my cats have given birth. And I keep like stopping, like I don't know, because there's one cat right there, and then I can't find the other one. Okay, but
she's in a box somewhere.
Yeah, that's where she gave birth last time. But okay, so first point of topic: kids nowadays, that's like young as 8, 9, 10 years old, have cell phones. I didn't get my first cell phone until I was 18. And you know what my first cell phone was? It was my mom's Motorola Starcatcher. It had a green screen. That was the only color.
And like most of the time too, these kids are getting like a cell phone out of just, Dad, I want a cell phone. Okay, I'll just give it to you.
Well, no,
But you know what I do understand is if it's like something where there's something wrong in the family, say like there was a separation, you're worried about your kid being, and you need to make sure that they have a way to get in contact with you. I understand that.
I think a lot of my topics might be because of safety issues, you know what I mean? Like a kid has to have a way to always be in contact with the parent all the time. It's also a separation anxiety maybe, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I didn't get a cell phone until I was 18. Well, maybe 19. I don't know. But
for me, it was 16.
Yeah,
I still had to pay for it myself.
Yeah, you bought yours. I didn't need a cell phone.
Actually, it was a gift.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you bought it.
My brother gave it to me.
Oh,
for
right.
my birthday.
That's why it had all that downloaded stuff on it.
No. My first phone was like a little flip phone and stuff like that.
Mine was a flip phone too. You could text on it, but you didn't want to text on it.
It was with Virgin.
Okay, mine was a Motorola Starcatcher. This thing was like about this big when it was flipped, or when it was folded, and when you opened it, the screen was like this big.
Yeah, mine was kind of like maybe like.
Didn't have internet connection.
Maybe like that.
The only thing you really would want to do on it is, call somebody. You didn't want to text on it because it was such a hassle. But yeah.
Yeah.
Cell phones nowadays, like kids are getting like, I think it started with that. Do you remember the Firefly? They used to,
yeah, they used to have it so that like parents could like, yeah.
It was only like it was a two-way phone, like a two-way radio, but it was like a two-way cell phone, right?
And you
I
had
think that was a good idea.
You had safe contacts.
They didn't have safe
that.
It wasn't safe contact. It was just you can only call the person that the phone was connected to. I think.
thought that no. What I remember it was it had 5 safe contacts you could have in it that your parents had to choose out for it.
Oh right, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. It used to be advertised on YTV when I was a kid. By the way, YTV was better when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's true.
Playing outside, like, you know, I remember. Okay, I grew up in 2 small towns.
I grew up in a small town, but it sucked. That small town
Like
was
what?
terrible.
Okay, whatever. Like when I was a kid, like when I was like outside playing all the time, there was Woboden, Manitoba, and Minitonas, Manitoba. Those are the only 2 towns I lived in as a kid that, you know, well, I'd want to go outside. Like Woboden though was like way far north in Canada's, you know, territories, but not really territories. There was like way south of the territories, but it was a town surrounded by forests, right? Okay, we had a forest.
That would be kind of freaky for me.
We had a forest. Like you can walk into this forest and be lost forever. Me and my friends would go out there and play all day.
Yeah, and I remember like as a kid, like
we
it
used to go on
wasn't
hikes.
Yeah, like nowadays, like I can understand like a lot's happened in our world nowadays. That things are like in a way a little bit more dangerous, but like you never really see kids actually playing outside anymore.
Well, like when I was a kid, like we'd go into the forest, and like we would discover cool stuff. Like we found like a cave once, and it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We found like really awesome huge rock formations. And when I was living in Minitonas, it was like
I really
literally,
didn't have a life.
literally, I would go out and I was probably like, I don't know, 10, 11 years old, and I'm going all over the town. Literally, I'm going from like one end of town to the other end of town. And it was like nothing. Now kids, like, I once saw a kid, like, probably about, like, you know, a couple weeks ago. I was like sitting at the bank waiting for her to go to the bank, and this kid comes out of the apartment, walks on the street, stops at the stop sign, turns around, goes back inside. Like, you never see kids
That kid
playing.
might have been like trying to run away and then realized that they weren't going anywhere.
They usually have like a little like stuffed animal backpack on their back.
Are you kidding me? Parents nowadays would be like, fine, go out, you're on your own. Figure out how to survive.
But like I said, like when I was a kid, I used to go play in the quarry, like the rock pits and everything like that, and that was fun. And you know, it's kind of sad because now kids aren't even going to their friends' houses.
And like
a lot of
parks
people
are like really empty unless like the parents are with them, which is understandable. But like,
well, yeah, you know,
parks are more empty than they used to be.
I know. Like I remember growing up, and I'd go to a park in a small town, and it would be packed. Nowadays, I go to a park in the city here because we live in Brandon, Manitoba, and it's not a big city, but it's not a small city at the same time. And there's lots of parks and no kids. There's, you know, sometimes when they open up the
Most of the time,
splash
there's
park,
really maybe like 1 or 2 kids in the park.
The only time they open the park's really packed is when the splash park opens up in the summer during the heat wave, and that's usually packed. But moving along, TV. Like when I was a kid, growing up, I only had 2 channels. 2 or 3
I had
channels.
a lot of
3 channels on a clear night. But 2 channels. Yeah, you had a lot of channels. But when I was like 12 years old, we got satellite. But now everybody's getting digital cable. Not many people have satellite. But growing up, like I remember Saturday morning was the only time I got to really watch cartoons. Saturday morning, about an hour after school, there was cartoons on TV on like CBC. But and if you missed a day of school, you can actually watch like until 12 o'clock some like little kid shows, like really little kid shows. And being 12 years old and watching like, Mr. Dressup was awesome, Fred Penner, you know, the stuff like Sesame Street, and actually Theodore Tugboat was a pretty good show. I remember that. She doesn't remember some of these cartoons, but nowadays
I was
kids,
deprived of certain shows.
Kids nowadays, like even YTV when I was a kid, it was like all the time, or no, not all the time. Most of the time it was cartoons, or not most of the time, like halfway through the day it would be cartoons, and then after probably about like 2-3 o'clock it'd be like, you know, not really cartoons. But nowadays kids can go and, you know, put on like Treehouse and like Teletoon, YTV's even starting to do stuff like that too, and like kids can watch like cartoons from sunup to sundown.
And is it just me, or are cartoons getting like a lot more inappropriate as time goes on?
Well, that's true too, and that's the like every once in a while, you know, you might get an inappropriate cartoons like SpongeBob. The first 4 seasons of SpongeBob. Like I used to watch SpongeBob when I was a kid.
Are we even allowed to bring up these shows?
I don't care. But SpongeBob, like growing up, was like a really awesome show to me. Like it really spoke to me. It really brought out my character and everything. No, I'm kidding. But you know, but on Netflix, yeah, kids nowadays too can go on Netflix and watch as much cartoons as they want. But they don't have the first 4 seasons of SpongeBob on Netflix. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's inappropriate. Apparently.
Which honestly, I see it like a lot more innocent than like the newer episodes that are out. Like I've seen the newer episodes, and I swear a couple times I've heard a swear word slip.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Or like that episode where they have invisible spray, and they spray each other's clothes, and and they're standing there naked, and then they spray each other's crotches.
Yeah, like it's just completely inappropriate now.
Inappropriate, like
you can't, like, you have to put like such a watch on your kids' shows now just to make sure that they're.
The thing is, you know,
subliminal messaging.
Back when I was a kid, I'm pretty sure, like, you know, the networks would put cartoons on at a certain point of day, so that kids would actually go out and play right after the cartoons are over. Because who's gonna want to sit there and watch The View or the news? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but nowadays it's like, oh, this channel has cartoons, or yeah, this channel has cartoons. Oh, now it doesn't. Now it does. Now it doesn't. You know, and if there's no cartoons on, they go to Netflix. Netflix is like the worst thing to be invented.
Yet a really awesome thing.
Moving on. This might be a little bit controversial, but dating. Kids are dating younger and younger.
Oh my gosh, it bothers me. Like I've actually seen like a thing on Facebook that had this girl. She had a picture where she was like grinding up against this really young kid, and like this girl's really young too, and she was like, "Mom, I'm 12 now. I can do whatever I want."
Yeah, exactly.
And that worries me.
You know what? When I was a kid, you didn't start dating until you were 16. Right?
Oh, heck no. Like, heck no. Like, there was no... And, like, even nowadays, I would almost put a bar up to 18.
Yeah. Well, with the way that, you know, kids are, like... All kids want to grow up fast. But when you become an adult, you don't want to grow up. You want to be young again. But all kids want to grow up fast. And then they start wearing these, like, provocative clothing. And, you know, they're trying to do all this adult stuff. And, like... Oh, I want to date and all that, but like...
You know what? I was there too. Like, I remember growing up as a teenage girl, and yeah, we do want to grow up fast. We want to be like the most mature things out there, and we think that we are, but really we're not. And it's disgusting. Like, you look back, if you've actually done these things in your life, you look back and think that, like, it was just disgusting.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you look at, there's like 13 and 12-year-olds getting pregnant nowadays, and it's like, why?
It's upsetting. It's sad.
Yeah, exactly. My last topic I want to bring up, and maybe I'll have a few, you know, honorable mentions after this, but Halloween.
Halloween was way better as a kid.
Yeah, I remember Halloween is not Halloween unless you're going trick-or-treating in the dark.
Yeah, I know, and like even like with us, like even like this year, like this past year, like we bring our son out on Halloween and everything, and he's all dressed up. Like he was really excited. He loved it.
The sun was still out.
Exactly, like the sun.
But hey, nobody's gonna give candy out after dark.
Nobody.
I guess that's more like
unless it's in like a small town, maybe it was like a small town thing.
Maybe, I don't know. But you know, maybe it's a controlling pranksters and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also there's like the whole entire like drug scene going around, so I do understand
Oh, yeah.
why. And plus, it's really harder to.
But even as a kid, you're being escorted by either a parent or an older sibling for Halloween. You know what I mean?
And I have to admit though, this year is pretty fun with Damian. He growled at every door.
Rawr.
We'd ring the doorbell or knock on the door, they would come and he'd be like, rawr, and he was dressed up as Elmo.
It literally, his costume looked like Elmo ate a baby.
And he likes Elmo, like he's in love with Elmo, and I think he just thought that he was a monster, and he went rawr every.
Alright, so a couple honorable mentions. Video games when I was a kid were a lot better. Even though, like, you know, nowadays there's kids playing like online, like a 5-year-old playing Call of Duty Black Ops. Like, really? Have some control on that.
Yeah,
like, when I was a kid, I was playing Legend of Zelda, and those are fun games. Like, when I was a kid, Donkey Kong 64, Quake 64, Legend of Zelda.
Me and my mom actually had a conversation about this today. Like,
they were longer though.
It's like, like kids nowadays shouldn't be playing Call of Duty with their parents when they're really young. Like, I'm really sorry, but when your kid, like, and my mom brought up like a really good point. When your kid gets older, like old enough to even like know what a gun is, how are they even gonna know what instant death is? How are they gonna be able to like copy that? Because all that they've seen is that if you get shot, you come back to life.
Exactly.
And it doesn't happen that way in real life, and you're desensitizing your kids, and it could cause like a serious problem when they get older. To shooting a gun at someone, finding out, guess what? They aren't coming back to life.
Yeah, like I play Call of Duty, but I understand. But when I was a kid, like I was playing like Quake 64, like there was 100 levels in that game. There was Donkey Kong 64. There was Legend of Zelda. There was like all these fun long games. Okay, nowadays like I played Star Wars, The Force Unleashed 2. I beat it in 4 hours while she took a nap. She went to bed when I was on the first level. She woke up during the credits.
I was mad. I was actually mad. Like, games are not even nearly made as long as they should be.
And like
anymore. Like, when I was a kid, like, we had like Mario 64 and like all this other stuff, and these were games that were legitly hard to beat. They took a long time. They took effort. They took maybe like a few months even.
Well, also they're not even fun anymore. Like when I played, we bought a Wii U. So we can like actually go and play the games that we used to like, because they have like newer versions like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Super Mario 3D World,
and that was like really fun. Like, I'm already on the last, but I haven't played it because the fact it was too easy to get to the last level, and I don't want to ruin it for myself.
Even Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which came out a few years ago, was actually kind of hard. And I still haven't beat it. I'm on the last guy, but it's
within
still
a
hard.
week, I was on the last level of the
Mario within a week. I got it for her for Christmas, and I gave it to her a month early, and she beat it before Christmas. Well, she would have beat it before Christmas before she gave up on the last one.
I didn't give up.
You gave up because you didn't want to beat it because it was too easy.
Exactly, and you just don't want to like ruin it.
Yeah,
you know? Like,
exactly.
You want to keep some suspense since there was like barely any going up to it.
Another honorable mention is toys. Like, I remember, like, as a kid, one of the toys I would have was like, I mean, like really, really, really young, where one of the toys was a phone, like the Sesame Street phone, where you'd press like a button. Elmo says two. You know what I mean? Yeah.
They had like Grover.
Now, guess what they have? Now, I went to go buy something for my son, and guess what I found?
Probably a toy cell phone.
No, a toy iPad. Toy cell phones have been out for a couple of years now, but toy iPad, where it's not just like when I was a kid where you'd have to, like, it's just buttons and all that and everything, or even the cell phones that you'd get, there'd just be a sticker or whatever on it. No, this is literally an iPad that it was a touch screen.
I've seen it.
Go ahead and break it.
I've seen stuff like this. Like,
now I've seen some toys.
I've seen commercials about stuff like this and how it has like protected internet and web surfing for kids. But okay, your kids that are that young don't need to web surf.
No,
Like, and I
not
don't
really.
know if this is like, and I don't really like. I know that like a lot of our opinions are very personal, but like we're all allowed to have our opinion. But in our opinion, kids that young shouldn't even be web surfing.
No. Like when I was a kid, I didn't really go on. Oh, I didn't go on the internet at all until I was, I think, 13 or 14 years old. Because it wasn't really a big thing when I was a kid. And you know how I would search stuff on the internet? I didn't go to Google. No, I didn't know how it worked. So I just would go to the URL and type in www.pokemon.com. And whatever would come up. Sometimes it was really bad stuff. Especially when I spelled like Hotmail wrong one time and I got to a really bad site.
Oh my gosh, the sites that like actually I'm kind of thankful for Google now, just because the fact that
Google, you can put on a safe search, which is good. Google is a godsend. Should have like a light come down on me. Like, but you know.
And then your parents are asking why in the heck this link is in your web search, and they don't believe you that you type something in.
I spelled Hotmail HOTMALE by mistake when I was 12 years old. Luckily, the school had a site blocker on there, and it showed up as a pornographic site. I did not mean to go to that. I meant to go to my Hotmail account, which I still have, and it's attached to my Facebook still. No, that one's not anymore, as of last year.
Wait, what?
Remember? The one that I forgot the password to?
Oh yeah, and then I exited. I remember
But yeah,
that.
things have changed since I was a kid.
So much.
Like, now they have like this wireless stuff. I remember when you had to plug the controller in.
Like the best game nowadays, like Minecraft.
Minecraft is fun.
Minecraft is so awesome.
By the way, check out my other channel. I do a bunch of Minecraft on there. Other videos too.
Teddy Bear Massacre.
Yeah.
And don't worry, he doesn't massacre teddy bears. It's just his name.
If you go to my Facebook, Teddy Bear Massacre, I have a picture of me sleeping with a teddy bear.
I took that one night, and it was really funny because that night when I took that picture, he woke up when I took the picture. He doesn't remember waking up, but he woke up, and he looks at me, and he got so mad at me for taking that picture, and he was like, "Karen, back off!" And he goes back to sleep, and then later on he wakes up, and I showed him this picture, and he's like, "Oh, you got a picture of you sleeping with a teddy bear."
Don't wake me, but yeah.
Oh, when you woke up, you were mad at me for taking the picture, man.
So, question of the day today is...
Yes.
This one's going to be a little confusing, so I'm going to give a little bit of explanation to it. How do you get from one YouTube video to the current one you're watching? And I mean this by, the other day, we typed in real ghost videos caught on tape. I believe it was, or no, real ghost caught on video or something like that.
Just because you know we're weird and we like to
Yeah, and after about an hour and a half of screwing around, we found out that we had gotten to, what was it?
Gone from that to like ex-wives or ex-girlfriends like freaking out.
We tried this
stuff
twice.
like that, like completely like.
We tried this twice. We went from, or at one point we had gone to crazy ex-girlfriends, and then another time we got to people flipping, 5-year-olds flipping out when they on Call of Duty. That's where it came from today. On Call of Duty, like going completely ape poop everywhere. I mean, like picking stuff up, throwing it, and like totally ripping everything apart.
And I've seen some pretty bad videos that like I couldn't believe some of these kids' reactions. Like I've even seen one where this kid promised his friends he'd help them like work on a project, and he like instead of helping them, he sat there playing their game and was freaking out because like they were telling him to get off the game and get out of the house, and he tried like attacking the other kid that
It
wouldn't
wasn't
let
even
him.
his game system.
It wasn't even his game system.
Or
It was
his
all
house.
because-
And he attacks the kid that actually lives there. If you
Yeah.
want to check it out, it's fat kid freaks out over game
Over video game, I think.
or a video game or something like that. And it's completely stupid. Like
this kid, like you seriously, and you don't know how, like there weren't parents around to help, like get this kid out of the house. Like it was just completely insane.
I've also seen videos where the kid is like playing video games and the parent walks up and they have a video recorded because why? Because the kid does this like every so often, actually pretty much every day or something like that. And this one was a little girl that I saw doing this. I can't remember the title of the video, but she was playing video games. She looked like she was 5 years old, 5 or 6 years old, and she's playing Call of Duty or something like that.
Which, by the way, too young.
Yeah, and she's like playing, and the father walks up and is like, "It's time to get off video games," and she just sits there still playing.
Yeah, see, he even says, "I think this game's too violent for you." Goes to turn it off.
I'll reenact
and
it. She's like,
and she starts screaming.
No, wait, I got. So she's like playing. She's like, "Okay, get off." She's like, "Get off. Get off. Get off." Turns off the Xbox or whatever. I'm pretty sure it was an Xbox it looked like. She throws the controller and starts screaming and hitting the father. Like, if I would have done that to my mom, she would have blackened my butt. I would have gotten it the worst ever. Okay?
Well, yeah, I don't even think I'd be alive today if I acted out like that.
Like.
But anyway, we really do need to end this video.
Yeah, we're going on for a long time. But
give us a like.
Give us a comment and subscribe. Have a good one.
Bye.